Good morning, everybody. It's Graham from Unearthed, and today's film is based on metal detecting finds again. So I'm going to be showing you guys some artifacts that I found fairly recently. Most of these have been found last year and a couple of years previous to that. And I do apologise up front that some of you guys may have already seen these artifacts on different social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, etc. But there will be a lot of you that haven't seen some of these things that I'm going to show today, and I hope you will find them of some interest. The reason why we do this, or I do this YouTube video film, is it gives you an idea of what's out there, what you can find. Some of these are weird, quirky, rare, desirable. You know, the finds from all ages. So I hope you get a little bit out of this film. So first of all, I'm going to show you this rather interesting artifact. Now, I found this many moons ago, actually. This isn't a recent find, but it's a key. And as you can see on the foot of it, there's a cross. So someone's etched a little cross into that key sometime in the past. However, when you look at it, it's very thin, and it would be probably too thin to be used as a key, or the purpose as a key. I don't think this was ever purposely made to be used. I think it's more of a symbol. I did show it to a guy at our local finds liaison officer a long time ago, and they put it in the medieval bracket, but I'm unsure about it. It's very, I mean, it was obviously suspended. There's a hole at the top, and I have seen one or two keys like this in the past. However, the age, it looks medieval. It looks the right sort of, you know, the sort of right patina and everything, but it's so thin. I mean, that would have never opened anything. So I think this was probably used round the neck on a chain or a bit of string as some sort of symbol. So there you go. That's the first sort of strange find that I'm going to show today. Like I said, I found it many moons ago, and I've always kept it. It's always intrigued me to what it could be. So if you guys have got any thoughts out there of what that may be, let me know. You may have one yourselves. Now, another one that I found a couple of years ago is this very strange artifact. At first, when I first found it, I thought it was the top end of a key again, but it's got no signs of any breaks on it, so it's actually a full artifact. Now, it certainly looks Saxon Viking to me. You know, is it a rain guide? Is it you know, it's a very strange find, and that was found on a site where I found Saxon and Viking bits in the past. But it's so small, so that's another interesting artifact that I put firmly in the category in, you know, what is it? What is that? So if you guys have got any idea and you'd like to hazard a guess at it, please leave a comment. So we'll put that one away. Next one, I think you guys may have seen this before. This is a Pilgrim Sample. You can see where the lugs have broken off either side of it, and you can see it's open. Now, the reason why I'm showing this again is because I'm getting quite a bit of feedback off people that have found these over the years. Some of them squashed, quite a lot of them squashed, but when they're opening them, some people are lucky enough to find hammered coins inside, so they're rattling them. If it makes a rattling noise, they're opening them up, and a few lucky individuals are finding hammered pennies, half pennies, kept inside these ampulars. So if you have got any squashed ampulars at home, I've got quite a few. Why don't you open them up? You've got nothing to lose, and just see if it makes a rattling noise. If there's anything inside that you suspect, it could well be a coin. So that might be a little tip for you. I found quite a lot of these squashed over the years. I've never found one with a coin in it yet, but we live in hope. Now, the next one is a rather interesting artifact. I found this on a medieval site, and it would have had another loop the same as that one on the left, and two chains, I think, leading off. and it looks like a drawbridge portcullis type artifact, doesn't it? I showed this to some guys on social media, and a very clever and interesting gentleman got back to me and said it's a medieval find, or late medieval find, and he did give me some description of what it was, but I can't fully remember without chasing up my paperwork. But you know, it's symbolic. So that's quite an interesting little find to show you guys. You know, almost like it's had something on there that's broken off. You can see maybe a tag or something, I don't know, or a hook. Who knows? So that's an interesting little artifact that's popped up. That popped up fairly recently. I thought I would just show. Now, this one here is another artifact I found. Well, I found this quite a long time ago, actually, and it is a cosmetic grinder. Celtic Iron Age cosmetic grinder. As you can see, when I turn it over like that, you can see the detail that the person that made it has put into the artifact. And this would have been one of a pair, and some people call them ward grinders. So many moons ago they were always called ward grinders, and recently changed to cosmetic grinders. There would have been two of these, and they would have put them together to grind the ward, to paint the faces. That was the idea, but I think experts have found out subsequently that these are more cosmetic grinders than ward grinders. We still affectionately call them ward grinders, but you know, you do get pulled up from time to time from people, certain individuals, saying no, they are cosmetic grinders. So there would have been another one of these, maybe slightly larger, out there somewhere. I managed to find that one, but I've been on that field 2 or 3 times since. I've never found the other part, the other pair, so, or the matching one. So that's if you come across these out in the field, that gives you some idea of what they are. So I hope that was of interest. Now, another one. I mean, I've got loads of artifacts on this table, and I don't know if I'm going to get through them all today. This is rather interesting. I found this 2 years ago, and I found it on a really hot day. I hadn't a clue what it was at the time, apart from it being possibly Roman, and that was due to the patina on it and just the stylization and the look of it. But that's all I knew. However, when this was made and when it was in operation, it would have been straight. So I would suggest that looks like, to me, that's been bent on purpose. It's got too many bends and twists in it. I may be wrong, the plough may have done it. And it is actually a steel yard weight arm. So that would have been attached with these holes. You can see the notches. The weight would have gone across, and each notch, the weight would have been moved along for the balance of the weight. So it's a Roman steel yard weight arm. Bit of a mouthful. So if you ever come across bits of these broken ends, even possibly just this part, and you wonder what that is, it's obviously part of a bigger artifact. Now that's full. I have toyed with the idea to get this straightened out. I've got a friend that could probably do it. Whether I keep it like that or straighten it, I'd love to see it back to its former glory. So I'll have to have a word with him and see what he can do. So watch this space, folks. You may see that one in the future straightened out. Now, another very strange find is this. This was last year, 2018. Now, when it came up in I wandered down into a relatively low lying area of a field, which had been waterlogged in the past, flooded. There's a few Roman bits come out of it and a few other artifacts and coins over the years. But this came up, and I hadn't a clue what it was. I took a picture of it saying this is an potentially interesting find. And this was on Facebook, on social media. And a couple of guys that had found ends of them, broken parts of them, etc., come back with a Bronze Age toggle, a moustache toggle, which was rather surprising. And that's what it's turned out to be. There's a couple of these on the database. So, you know, if you want to have a look at them, you can see them on the Portable Antiquities database, and they're called Bronze Age moustache shapes. Now you can see there's a hole there, an indentation, and a groove. So that's a rather interesting find. It's not in the best of condition. It came out, as I said, in a watery area, and it was in pretty poor condition. I'm just managing to stabilise it now. But that's an interesting find. Certainly not the common run-of-the-mill Roman bronze coins and such like that I found in the past in that particular area. So that might be one that you guys may find interesting. Now, a couple of objects here. I'm going to put these side by side, so do bear with me, folks. These are Viking stirrup mounts, 10th century, 11th century. As you can see, both similar in design. However, this one's got much more stylization on it than the one on the right, which you can just see faint traces of decoration on. So these were on the stirrups. They're mounted. Quite a common find in East Anglia and other places. Both these were found in Lincolnshire, so that gives you some idea. If you're pulling these out of the ground and you don't know what they are, well, there you go. That's what they are, some age to them. So I do like finding these. I found a couple of broken bits of these in the past, and these are the only two full ones that I've found. So I would like to find a couple more if possible, if the gods are listening. Next one up is this rather interesting find. Now, I found this a good few years ago now. As you can see, it's got ring and dot decoration on it, and it's actually a finger ring, and it's been squashed, unfortunately. It's full but squashed, and as you can see, it's got a knot design on the back of the ring. Again, that could probably be restored by a professional back to its former glory. I may look into doing that at some point. But it's Saxon finger ring, 9th century. Beautiful little find. However, just a shame that it's been squashed at the back. So that's probably one to look at getting restored sometime in the future. So, you know, if you come across these little fragments of these things with this sort of decoration on it, it gives you some idea of what it could be. Now, this is an interesting object. When I found this, it was on a Roman site, and I toyed with the idea, was it a Roman oil lamp holder? It sits up quite nicely there on its three legs, support legs. But then I got thinking it can't be. It's probably a pendant hanger, medieval heraldic pendant hanger. I've seen one or two of these come up by different people, and they seem to have different opinions of what they could be. Some are saying Roman, some are saying medieval. I put it in the category of medieval, and I am open to suggestions, and if anybody else thinks it could be something different, let me know. But that's what I think that is. So, interesting little find in itself, but I do think it's medieval. So if you come across one of them, folks, and you don't know what it is, that might be along the lines of what it could be. Now, this is a particularly nice find. It's a chisel. Now, this was found again in a watery, low-lying area. It was all brown stained when I found it. But as you can see, it's almost perfect. It's got a bad scrape there, but the edge to it is still rather sharp. Now, I hadn't a clue what it was age-wise, but it's come back as a positive identification as late Bronze Age. I have never seen, when I've Googled many of these images of these Bronze Age chisels in the past, and still to date, I've never seen one as good as this. It's almost like you could use this today, even though it'd probably break and be rather weak, I guess. But, you know, was this an artifact for carving delicate areas of a canoe? Who knows? But again, a low-lying area, just like this Bronze Age item was here. Is there something in that? You know, are we going to be having hordes of detectorists now searching low-lying, watery areas for Bronze Age artifacts? There's a clue there somewhere, isn't there? So that's a rather desirable find, and one of the best artifacts I've found in a long time. So that gives you some idea of what it looks like. Beautiful, beautiful artifact. So I was very blessed to get that one. Again, we're staying on the Bronze Age theme. This was another find from last year. If I can turn it round, it's a rather big lump. And this is a Bronze Age spear. So this was found on some ploughed land last year, and it's in reasonable condition as well. It's not the best because it's broken at this end, splintered, which is sad, but it's still pretty much complete. So that gives me a great deal of joy, because I do find 1 or 2 Bronze Age artifacts over the years, and I've only ever found tips of the spears, the broken ends. So this is the first full spear I found in 30 odd years, so I was rather excited about finding that. So there you go, folks. It's a rather nice, again, nice desirable artifact that you do not know where these are going to come up. I see these coming up in places like Cumbria, Yorkshire, Lincolnshire, Norfolk, all over the place, Wiltshire, so they're pretty much widespread. So keep searching, guys, and I'm sure you will find one eventually. And there'll be a lot of you guys out there that have found a hell of a lot more than that one I've got. Next up is this interesting little artifact. It's a brooch, and it looks like a caterpillar brooch, as they call them, or an equal arm brooch. And it's a Saxon one, 9th, 10th century, with some very strange patterns on. What was interesting about this, the field that it came off was predominantly late medieval onwards. So we found a lot of Tudor type hammered coins and milled silver coins, crotal bells, that sort of thing, leading right up to the Victorian times. And this was by far the earliest artifact that came off, which give us some hope that there could be earlier finds on there for us in the future. As you can see, the pin's missing, a little bit damaged on the lugs here, but a lovely find, a lovely patina on that. So there you go, brooch, folks. Rather nice design on that, I think you would agree. Put that to one side. Next up is last year's find, and I'll have to show this one. This is a rather, weighs in at 1.2 pound, so it's one of the heaviest artifacts that I've ever found. It is an Iron Age Romano linchpin from a wheel of a large vehicle stroke chariot. And when it came up, it was full of mud. I did put a video on YouTube of it coming out of the ground. It took some cleaning. As you can see, it's an eagle's head with a seed in its beak. Possibly a raven, but there's a couple of guys come back with an eagle. And as you can see, look at the ring and dot. Absolutely phenomenal artifact. The design features on this is just absolutely incredible, even down to its eye, its nostril on the right hand side, lines across its beak. Still needs a little bit of attention. It's well stabilized now, but what a beautiful find. It's on an iron shaft, which would have gone further down and acted like a giant linchpin to hold the wheel in place. Now what is interesting about this, and I'll be gentle with it for you guys to see, at each end on its wings is a groove, a worn groove there and a worn groove here. The wears are exactly the same. Now I think they've been not done on purpose, I think they've been worn over time. So it'll be interesting to see what method or why that's happened. As you can see, it doesn't sit straight, so I've got to make sure I hold it upright. But what I find, that give me a buzz that you wouldn't believe when I found that ancient artifact. Now, some people will say quite clearly, you know, this should be a museum piece, these should be set on display for the public to see, which I can agree with and understand why people say it. However, I look after it. It's well looked after, it's well shown, it takes pride of place in my collection, and it won't be stuck in a cupboard somewhere or a drawer, never to be seen again. So this gets plenty of attention, and plenty of people have a lot of joy in looking at it. So there you go, that's the eagle's head. Finally, 2 artifacts for you guys to see, which are quite common on Roman sites, are nail cleaners. Now, both are Roman in date. One's a lot more substantial than the one on the right, but you know, these would have been everyday artifacts that people carried with them to clean the fingernails, etc. And the level of detail in these are quite phenomenal. As you can see, it's got a group of dots in the middle, a line of stripes down the side of it. Beauty, you know, whoever's had this have put a lot of time and effort into it. It's a lovely find. Came off a very, very small Roman site that produced mainly bronze Roman coins. But you can see at the top of it as well, there is some dots. So they put a lot of detail and work into that. And of course, this one is slightly plainer in detail, although it has got some design around the flanks. Still got a bit of mud in the ring at the top. But, you know, you could probably use that today to clean out your own fingernails. So there you go, folks. These are the things you find in the UK with your metal detector. Absolutely phenomenal. And I hope you guys have similar success out in the field as I do. I know there's a lot of you guys that watch these videos that find so many nice things, and I enjoy watching you pick them up out of the ground. But isn't it nice to show your finds? I think it's great. Rather than being stuck away in a cupboard somewhere, get them out, show them, look after them, cherish them, and enjoy showing people. And because not only are they learning about history, they're learning about what artifacts are out there, and it sets their imagination into overdrive. So there you go. I hope that was useful, and many thanks for watching, and many thanks to you guys for subscribing to the Unearthed YouTube channel. Okay, I'll see you again soon.